Hello, this is David Mixner, and how are you today? Well, summer's finally upon us, and I can't believe it's already May. Do me a favor before I begin. Please subscribe. It really, really does help me. Just hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button if you enjoy what I have to say. Today, I am going to sum up for you 5 lessons that I've learned from 63 years of activism. And my cat, Dakota, is going to off and on contribute to this event. My first activity in organizing was 1960 with to help elect President John Kennedy as President of the United States. And ever since, I have tried to be of service to the people of this planet and to my community and to my beliefs and principles. And I think I've done it pretty successful for 63 years. But I wanted to share 5 lessons as I get up in age that I found very helpful to me. Lesson number 1, and I'll list them down in the description below. The purpose of a movement is to change minds. Now, we have had all sorts of movements in my lifetime: labor, environmental, anti-war, anti-nuke, support Ukraine, LGBTQ, AIDS. But we tend to forget what the purpose of a movement is. It is to change minds. And so it is to expand the number of people who are supporting what you believe in. So it's not to make someone take a test in order to join you, that they have to be correct on 10 other issues before you will allow yourself or to work with them or to be part of your movement. No, what your job is to take the thing you're trying to change and the way you're trying to make the world better, and to get as many people as who is undecided or inactive or even disagree with you, change their minds and feel as strongly as you do about the change you're advocating. So that means you might disagree with someone 90% of the time, but you find that 10% of the time where they're in agreement. And often those are the most valuable people you can add to the movement. Find those grounds of common interest, build a bridge, add to the numbers of people who support you and your efforts, and don't exclude anyone. This is about inclusion, not exclusion. So look for those ways to build bridges, to change minds, and to understand that it is your job, not theirs, your job to find a way to convince them that what you're advocating is very, very important. The second thing I want to say is self-righteousness. God, that does such damage. Self-righteousness of I'm right and you're wrong removes all hope for dialogue. And it is through dialogue that we are able to resolve issues and change minds and go to people with an open mind and an open heart. Self-righteousness leads to some sort of advocacy that reeks of cold ideology and not from the heart. So you might be right, I might be right, but that's not what we're out to prove. I always said, if you have to pound your desk and shout to be heard, you have no power. If you can talk quality, excuse me, I just had some computer problems there. If you can talk softly with substance, you'll be surprised at how many more people listen carefully. Self-righteousness is not about proving you're right. It's not about proving anyone else is wrong. It is leaving the world open to talk. And this is part of the problem we have now. People don't talk anymore. They take positions, they sign petitions, they do this, they do that. They pass legislation like the Republicans are doing, telling us how we have to live every minute of our life. So be careful about being self-righteous. Value your words as much as you do your actions. The other thing that I want to talk about is knowing the difference between your principles and values and issues. Now, issues are things that are like legislation that might come out of your principle and values. But when you do legislation, when you do policy, you have to be willing to compromise. And it's not easy and it's unpleasant. But if you can change the life of a lot of people over time, then it's worth doing. I mean, if you can give people 2 million more people food stamps and not get everyone that needs them food stamps, you got to get those 2 million people food stamps and then come right back and try again for the rest. Principles or values are things you don't negotiate. You don't give up. Freedom. You don't negotiate freedom. There's no such thing as partial freedom. Freedom is free. Love, kindness, no more war, are values and principles that I have lived with. And any time that I come close to having to negotiate those principles and values, I have refused to do so, sometime to my benefit, sometime not, and sometime I'm fooled by it all. For example, it's politicians, when we go in and we say, we need the right to serve in the military, our community needs the right to get married, our community needs, and they'll say, oh, don't ask me to do all of that. I'll do this little bit and we'll get the rest later. You can't negotiate human rights away. People's basic dignity, you have no right to negotiate. It's okay if they can only do a little and you accept it, but you tell them that it is unacceptable, that they're not being a leader on the kind of things that this world needs in dignity and strength. The fourth one I want to talk about is knowledge. What's the last book you've read about the world? What magazine do you subscribe to keep current of what's going on in Asia and Africa and Latin America and here? What biographies have you read that has given you a sense of history and the pitfalls that others have faced and how they dealt with it? I am stunned at how many people no longer read. I am stunned at how many people I know that get their information from Twitter or Facebook or this blog or that podcast. I cannot tell you how important the search for knowledge is in solving the problems of the world. Books have educated me like I have never dreamed possible. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do a list of some of my favorite, what I consider essential books, biographies, and I'm going to do some work on other things that will help make you have a well-rounded thing. But I will give you one piece of advice. This might surprise you. Our time is limited. I understand that. And we're on the social media. Hell, you're sitting here listening to me. Read The Economist from cover to cover once a week, and you will be one of the best informed people in the world. I don't agree with a lot of their editorial policies, but they have brilliant special editions. They cover China, they cover Asia, they cover Africa, they cover Latin America. Each week they have a different segment. And some of their special issues on technology, for example, are absolutely incredible, or AI. So if you don't have a lot of time and you don't like to read, at least subscribe to The Economist online and make it a mission. Make it in your things to do list to finish reading that cover to cover. And you will be one fucking bright cookie. Finally, the fifth one. All of that is, I have said before, is useless if you don't live your own personal life the way you want to see the world be. We get caught up on how important we are and how busy we are and how essential we are. one of the things I've learned over the last 12, 15 years when I have been, over that time, very bad sick, is how indispensable I'm not. The world continues, traffic continues flowing, and wars come and go, and it really doesn't make any difference if I'm present or not. But you got to have fun. You've got to take vacations and leave the job at home or the issue at home. You got to laugh. You got to dance. You got to sing. You got to soak in the beauty of the earth. Because if you don't do any of those things, if you don't live like you want to have others the right to see and live and be with dignity, you're going to come across as a cold ideologue, and you're going to be bitter, and you're going to become self-righteous because you haven't taken time to soften yourself, to fill yourself with the love of the planet, fill your love of good times, fill yourself with the love of others, allow others to help you and teach you. So live your life. And that is the most important thing, I think, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to help others for long. You're going to feel like you're making too great a sacrifice, or you're going to sound like a cold ideologue, or you're going to be pretty damn boring, that's for sure. So those are just some quick lessons. I'll list them down below, just by title. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to try, as I'm still got it up here, I'm going to try to share with you some of the things that's been useful tools for me over the years. I hope that helped you. I want to thank everyone who's been supportive of me over the last years in my illness. And I want to tell you all right now, I love you a lot. Peace.